Thanks for that. Thanks for I'm sorry. It was a long journey. Can't remember that thing.
So where do you work? Which department? No, okay.
I knew she wasn't.
See, you're in Leesburg, typically?
Yes. And I'm boys are retired,
Yes.
but I'm from the area.
Oh, okay. So I have to get oriented.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's 1527 is
Yeah, okay. Yeah, from my house I can see the South Lake campus and Walmart south of
Thank you.
It's a memories that's going to go.
Oh, yeah.
We have to make some.
Thank you all for being able to make it here tonight and help us fulfill Ketty's wishes. As we all know, she was an unconventional person and she did not want us to mourn her death, but to remember her life. She insisted that we do not wail and cry and asked that we played loud music. Those are tall orders. If she can see us gathered here, she will surely have a smile on her face, even though we'll turn the volume down a little, and even though some of us may not manage to hold back the tears. But I'm sure she will not mind too much, because she knew she will be sorely missed. And we will miss her for many reasons, but what we'll miss most of all is her ability to motivate and to inspire. In the words of her favorite Beatles song, which we'll play in a little while, she was a dreamer, big-time dreamer. It was for that dream that she gave up a lucrative career and instead decided to motivate and inspire young people, her students, and to turn them into dreamers like herself. She did that very well, even though she may have upset a few sensitive souls with a harsh remark, or scolded those who were slow handing in their assignments. But that's because it's not easy to be a dreamer, but it does pay to dream. And as I'm standing here tonight, I can testify in front of everyone that Ketty did get a huge payback. not just from her family and friends like most of us do. As she was battling the disease during her last few weeks at the hospital, one of the nurses recognized Katie as her former professor. The nurse had been a mature student with 2 young children, and she could not get a babysitter every now and then she'd bring the children into class with her. Katie made sure the children were not bored, got them to participate in the class with everyone else, and as you can imagine, that made her an instant favorite. From that day, the children loved going to school with their mum. The nurse stood by the hospital bed and told Katie that if it wasn't for the motivation and inspiration she received from her, she would not have become a registered nurse, and she would not have been able to look after her that day. I'm sure you'll agree that kind of payback one cannot buy for money. So let's put a smile on our faces tonight, because Katie had a great life, because we had the privilege of being part of that life, the privilege to have known her, and most of all, because crying will definitely not get us a passing mark from her tonight. I'll let Alex, my younger son, say a few words, and then drop the slide.
My mom is the happiest human being I've ever known. But to just call it happiness would be a massive understatement. She had a profoundly overwhelming positive spirit, an approach to life that was as admirable as it was contagious. Her ability to embrace the positive and dismiss the negatives in life was truly inspiring, and something that I will always carry with me for the rest of my life. She lived and breathed positive energy. Every time I have felt sadness and negativity creeping in over the past few weeks, I have focused on the feeling of her energy and her spirits, and it has immediately diverted my mind to the memories of happiness, love, and positivity we share. She would want us to harness her radiant energy and channel it to overcome the sadness that we are struggling with now. I feel strongly that to dwell and mourn for too long would be a disservice to her legacy. It would not be true to her spirit, and it would be out of line with everything she taught us and the example she set for us by the way she lived. I feel truly privileged to have been instructed by her in the art of beautiful living for 23 years, and I want to do her legacy justice by living with the same intensity of happiness and positivity that she did. I hope that everyone whose life she touched makes it.
I won't take too long. I'm Gary Sly. I'm the dean over many of the faculty at the college. Many of Katie's colleagues and friends from the college are here tonight. I want to start out by saying to Sasha and the boys, we're very grateful to you all for allowing us to share Katie for a while. I had to say to both boys how important they were to Katie and how important we knew that you were to your mom. When you all went off to school, we got to hear about it. And, you know, that was a real good experience, but it was a way for us to get to know her and you all. So we felt like we knew you all, even though we didn't get to see you at that time. Katie shared herself with us. You've already talked about her students. I can't tell you how many students have talked to me through the years about what Katie brought to them. I could probably tell you a lot of stories. And we're grateful that we had Katie amongst us. She was a colleague who tried her best to motivate us. I went back and looked through some emails, and Katie would find something fascinating and just zip it around to everybody. And if you commented on it, you got a conversation started, and it just kept going like that. And so it really was a privilege, and it's something that we're going to miss a great deal at the college, not to have Katie there. But we feel, as we hear you all speak, that Katie certainly, and Katie's life and Katie's passion certainly lives on with everybody who knew her. So thank you.
Thank you. We prepared a little slide presentation from Katie's life. Tisha prepared it, Alex's girlfriend, she's right there. Thank you, Tisha. And she also prepared some cards, so if after watching it, some of us, some of you has a memory of Katie or anything that you'd like to put on a piece of paper, we're going to put a scrapbook together and says those.
Yeah, Mike, thank you.
Where's your mic, Kevin? No, it's back there.
Oh,
Maybe it's... Anyone was supposed to say something?
Kevin, did you want to say something? Okay. Yeah? Okay.
Sorry, I misunderstood earlier, but I'll introduce Kevin Brown, Katie's former colleague, who also wanted to say a word. Sorry.
While they're doing that, Dr. Katie and I just go way back. One of the things that comes to mind is a poem by an unknown author that talks about 100 years from now, it won't matter the size of the house that we live in, the kind of the car that we drive, but what will matter is the difference, that we made a difference in the life of a child. Dr. Katie exudes that with so much passion. She not only made a difference in the life of so many children, but she made a difference in the life of me. Many of you don't know, but years ago we sat down together and wrote a grant called the Emerging Outbreaks. And we were awarded a grant from the Department of Education that enabled us to take about 20 students from Lake and Sumter County, gifted students. And we started a summer program. We traveled to Atlanta, Georgia, to the Center of Disease Control, a wonderful program. Dr. Katie's green car, she sold it to me, that I passed down to a student. When Alec was in Tallahassee at Florida State, he and my nephew was also a student in that Emerging Outbreaks class, became friends. He was at Florida A&M in the pharmacy program, he was at Florida State. But she was not my friend, she was my family. She always greeted me with a kiss. She worried about me. I went through something health-wise. Dr. Katie came to my house and she said, come on, let's get out of the house, let's go to dinner. And we sat down and we talked. And, you know, to me, that went much further than a paycheck and much further than a degree. When I got my doctorate, she was right there saying, I'm so proud of you. You know, dream big, as her husband talked about. You know, don't settle for just being a crop director or being an adjunct. You have too much inside of you. And when he called me to tell me the news, it didn't sit well with me. And I'm not going to cry, because she wouldn't want that. She said, I remember coming for New Year's Eve and we danced from outside to the pool, and, you know, and no one looked at me as different. I didn't fit in. You know, I was one of the darkest ones here, but, you know, everybody, come on, you know, we did some kind of line dance, and it was just so much fun and helped us to celebrate the year that was passing into the new year that was approaching. And those are the things that I will remember. Driving her to the airport to go see Nick in Vegas, or to see her parent. You know, come on, Kev, take my car, and, you know, just put the key in. She trusted me as a part of her family. I mean, I had her house keys and everything. But that's how close-knit we were. And when there was a problem, I could go to her and vice versa, and we could talk, and we would laugh or cry or fuss, because you know, she would be angry about things. She wanted justice. She wanted equality, she wanted fairness, and she wanted us to live. And that's what we're to do, not just exist, but to live. And thank you for having me.
Bra.